This is the Emmy Award-winning 11 News Close-Up with your host, Marvin Scott.
Good morning. This morning we focus on two powerful and compelling stories by authors who share a common bond of courage in telling individual stories that transform their lives and leave readers riveted by their dramatic and emotional tales. Later in this broadcast, I'll be joined by journalist Rita Cosby, who'll talk about her book, Quiet Hero. One of the most significant stories of the post-9/11 age is also one of the least known, life at Gitmo, the detention facility in Cuba for many of the world's worst terrorists. It's a place few people get to visit. But Army Reserve Captain Montgomery Granger served there as the ranking Army medical officer just months after the 9/11 attacks. He writes about his experiences in Saving Grace at Guantanamo Bay, a memoir of a citizen soldier. Welcome.
Thank you.
Now, Monty, Gitmo is somewhat of an enigma. We hear so many stories about torture camp and whether it should be closed. It was the first order of business President Obama wanted. You said when you arrived there, you describe it as an almost mythical place surrounded by more misinformation, incorrect assumptions, and rumor than fact. We have a few moments. I want to hear about your book. I'd like to hear about Set the Record Straight. What is Gitmo like?
Imagine if your job was every single day to take care of people you knew wanted to kill you. That's what it was like. And the professionalism was uncompromised. We took care of them according to Geneva Conventions, even though some of them didn't deserve that care. We were told as we arrived that we would treat them within the spirit of Geneva Conventions. So we treated them with dignity and respect as we would any other POW, even though they did not deserve that title either. So the biggest conflict was in the medical mission, because we had Navy medical personnel who were taught to heal the person as well as the wound, and Army military police personnel who were taught not to talk to detainees and to be firm with them. So therein lies the largest conflict during the operation.
Now, you had mixed emotions. You left your family in Long Island as a citizen soldier in the reserves, and you went down there, and it was an emotional experience, and you make no excuses about this. You had deep hatred for these people you were assigned to protect.
Absolutely.
How did you deal with that?
I think most of us did. We resented being taken from our homes, our families, our jobs, for people that wanted to kill us. And we had to deal with that. And some of us dealt with it better than others.
Okay, what about the stories we hear about the torture, the waterboarding, and the mistreatment?
Absolutely none of that took place. The International Committee of the Red Cross, ICRC, had complete visibility. They could go into the camp when they wanted to. We had frequent conversations with them, met with them regularly, and make corrections that we could make to accommodate their concerns.
Well, this wasn't exactly a hotel facility.
No, it was very Spartan when we got there, which was one of the reasons we chose Gitmo. The number one reason you choose any location for a military operation is security. So that was the most secure place we could hold detainees and have American personnel be safe as well. The other reason was logistics. It was close to the United States. There was a naval base there. But lastly, we had a facility from the Haitian crisis years before, Camp X-Ray, dog kennels, basically. You had chain link fences, corrugated tin roofs, and concrete floors. We knew that we could put them there fast, but as soon as we got there, construction began for Camp Delta, and in fact, 4 months later, Camp Delta was erected and we transferred the detainees. And one of the reasons that I was upset enough to write the book was because every picture you see, even a couple of days ago on the internet, is of detainees on their knees, blindfolded, with sensory deprivation earmuffs, in a holding cell, which many of them were there for just minutes. But that is an image that burns in people's minds about Gitmo.
You're saying they are treated very well. Is there any abuse of any of these detainees over the years, or the time you spent there?
Occasionally there was, very minor, and it was dealt with swiftly. Some of the minor cases I mentioned in the book, a military police might come by and call a detainee a name. Of course, you never hear about the guards being spat on, feces and urine thrown on them, their families threatened, their own lives threatened. And some of the military police did retaliate, either verbally or a slap, and they were reassigned immediately.
Now you say they're given plenty of outdoor recreation time. They have access to 15,000 books, DVDs.